We're live here at Botcon2009, Pasadena, California. You're watching Powet
TV. Action figures.
I am fresh back from Botcon2009, and you know what that means. It's time to take a look at the Wings of Honor Botcon 2009 exclusive box set of figures. Now, before I start talking about the figures, I want to take a moment and talk about the box itself. This year's box for the box set really sets itself apart from past years. It has the large Elite Guard logo on the front, and the logo actually opens up here, and on the inside you can see a little blurb about the Wings of Honor set and the contributors from the convention fund publications that put the set together. And the other side opens up as well, and on the back of that side there's a little blurb about it being the 25th anniversary for Transformers and a little bit about the convention itself. And in the middle we have some beautiful box art by Alex Milne, who does a lot of the artwork for IDW for the movie comic. And pictures of the box set were actually posted online at Botcon.com, so I'll post a link in the show notes so you can get a better look of the art and pictures of the box itself. Next, let's take a look at the contents. Just going to slide the cover right off. There we go. Now we'll set this aside so it will not get damaged. And in the box you can see the very nice foam insert that all of the figures are fit inside. When you buy a box set like this from the convention, they do an excellent job of making it actually feel like an exclusive. You're getting something special, and this foam insert, the way it displays the toys, does an excellent job of doing that. Underneath the foam insert is the instructions and the tech specs and bio cards, but we're here to look at the figures, so we're just going to take a look at the figures. So let's start off with Thunderclash. Thunderclash is a straight redeco of Energon Rodimus, who has only been repainted once before in the exclusive SWAT 2-pack that also featured an Energon Prowl repaint. I happen to really like the color scheme on this SWAT Energon Rodimus, but if you look at the two side by side, the base color for Thunderclash here is sort of a cream off-white color. I have to say it's very distracting because it looks as though it was supposed to be white, but it was left out in the sunlight too long and started to yellow, or it aged and got dirty. I found it pretty distracting, especially if you put it next to the bright white color of this SWAT repaint. Now, the character Thunderclash was a UK exclusive character and figure who led a faction called the Turbo Masters. Here is exclusive Thunderclash in robot mode. Now, I like what they did with the head, the sort of blue and gold coloring. Pretty different from what we normally see on a lot of robot heads from Transformers these days. But again, I still find the sort of off-white cream base color to be very distracting, and it's only reinforced in robot mode by the overly simple chest design as compared to the original Thunderclash's chest design. And that is readily apparent when you put him side by side the SWAT figure again. The chest doesn't have a lot of paint apps, but the large Autobot logo and the two stripes down the sides fills up the space very well. In the convention comic, Thunderclash is the leader of the group of Autobots being featured. Next up is Flak. Flak is based on the Cybertron Defense Scattershot mold, which was later redecoed as Decepticon Dropshot, which I have right here, and again just months later as Overload. Now, I'll be honest, I was initially very angry this mold was being used for the third time within a year-long span. That being said, this is probably the nicest color scheme of any version of this mold. Here's Flak in robot mode. As you can see, he does feature a retooled head to make him look closer to the G1 Micromaster. Of course, that only goes so far when none of the original colors are used. I'm sure Hasbro releasing Universe Overload in almost the same exact colors as the original Micromaster had something to do with, had some effect on Botcon's Flak. I have a feeling there's a story in there somewhere just waiting to be told. Here we have Landshark, a straight redeco of Energon Landmine. The mold has been redecoed once before as Landquake. Now the name Landquake is actually being used by another Botcon character. Now, when Landshark was first revealed, I didn't think his color scheme differed enough from Energon Landmine. Mind you, I'm partially red-green colorblind, meaning I have difficulty telling the difference between certain hues of red and green. The toy itself was always pretty cool, but I've always had kind of a love-hate relationship with it because the different modes are cool, but transforming him can be a real pain, especially getting this shovel into the right position for this vehicle mode, and getting the trailer on can sometimes be a pain as well. Regarding the color, I know that the figure is mostly green with some elements of orange, but my eyes just have a terrible time recognizing the difference between this shade of orange and this shade of green. I never normally have a lot of trouble with issues of that sort, but whatever it is with these two hues of red and orange, green and orange, just drive my eyes insane. Next up is our last Autobot and star of the set, Cup. He is a redeco of the Cybertron Red Alert mold with a retooled head, which I'll show you shortly. I think they did a pretty nice job of incorporating Cup's traditional colors for this mold. My only problem with the mold itself has always been that you can pretty much see the head sticking out of the roof of the car, even when it was Red Alert or Cannonball. Here is Cup in his robot mode. Now, I forgot to mention earlier that in addition to Cannonball and Cybertron Red Alert, another version of this mold was also the Crankcase repaint. Here's a nice close-up of the retooled head that not only looks just like Cup, it also looks like a younger Cup. And I believe they're successful in trying to put that across as they do in the comic. In the comic, he is a young, fresh recruit assigned to Thunderclash's team. I think this sort of sits outside of any typical canon, per se, the comic story, and just is a fun sort of side story to just enjoy. Scourge rounds out our set of figures as the Soul Decepticon. He is a repaint of the Cybertron Sideways mold, which was repainted once before as Universe Ratbat, which you can see right here. And as a cool little bonus, one of the convention souvenir sets was a 3-pack of sweeps, which were also repaints of Sideways. So anyone who got the pack got 3 sweeps for your Scourge to command, which is pretty neat. I'll show you that transformed later, but note the difference in color. Here are Scourge and one of our sweeps transformed. I have to say, at the convention I did try and get a second set of sweeps, but they actually sold out the person in front of me. They actually got the last set of sweeps, so that was unfortunate. But I have to say, both of these figures came out very nice. I was at first a little skeptical about the mold because it's kind of a pain to transform, and I always have a little more difficulty with Cybertronian type modes because you don't always really know when you're finished without some sort of reference picture. But that being said, these figures have probably one of the best retooled heads I've seen on any convention exclusive. Here is Scourge with his retooled head. Very nice, very detailed, very loyal to the character's classic look. And this is the same head featured on all of the sweeps as well, as you can see here. I wanted to mention one last thing about Scourge and the sweeps. The Cybertron Sideways mold was a Cyber Power Key gimmick, and basically the key went in right in the back here, and the red fins would sort of flare out when it was in as a shield in robot mode. And this right here, this little spot here, once you put the Cyber Power Key in, it would shift down, and this is where the faction symbol would be. So when you shifted it down with the key, the faction symbol would change. In prior series, Sideways had always sort of played both sides of the fence. When you try and do that on this figure, both places where the faction symbol was, they're both just the solid color. There are no faction symbols for that gimmick. Ratbat had a Decepticon symbol and an Omnicon symbol. Overall, this is a really well put together set, from the convention comic that these characters are based on, to the presentation of the figures, to the color schemes that were chosen. It was very well put together, and the Fun Publications people put a lot of work into it, and it showed. The demand for the set wasn't as high as prior years, but after the 2006 Pre-Beast Wars set, the 2007 Games of Deception set, and last year's Shattered Glass set, this set had a tough act to follow. And with that, I need to wrap things up. So, remember to check out Powet TV for all of your latest news on gaming, comics, toys, movies, music, and a whole lot more. And you can follow us now on Twitter at Powet TV, and you can also follow PowetToys. And as always, remember kids, open your toys. Even if they're exclusives, there are no twist ties. No excuse.